Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at the 3 3/4 inch Black Series release of Bastila Shan. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. Comes to us on that black card with the orange stripe that mimic the 6-inch line. This is just my least favorite card of the whole run of figures. Not to mention the bubbles hardly ever stayed attached to the card. But anyways, up top you got the Star Wars Black Series logo with a portrait of her off to the right. You can see she's number 20 in the lineup of this Black Series run. And then through that blister you see the included figure. Backside, Star Wars logo up top, her name once again, and then a brief write-up about her. Through the backside, you get a large image of her, which is, I think, the same artwork that appeared on the Vintage Collection line for the original release of this figure back in 2011. And now taking a look at the figure out of the packaging, and as I just mentioned, that she was released back in 2011 for the Vintage Collection and was a Fan's Choice winner. So what we're getting here is just a slight repaint. That original release, which I don't have, I never found it in the stores. From the images I've seen, it seems pretty much the same, except this time around the brown on the figure is much lighter in color. I feel like overall it's an improvement, at least based on the photos I've seen. Otherwise, though, going in for a closer look at the head sculpting, I know we're talking about not only a fictional character, but one that didn't even exist in real life on screen. This is done from a video game, and still based on that, I don't feel that there's much likeness of the figure that we received to what she looked like in the game, at least in terms of just how the head is sculpted, the face. The painting that was applied to this figure, though, does look nice. Eyebrows look good, eyes, lips. I do like the sculpting of the hair. You know, pretty simple up front, but as you get to the back, you get a couple ponytails going on. Nice bronze painting for the hair binder that's holding her hair back in the center. Otherwise, like I said, you can just see some good individual hair strands and stuff sculpted in there. Going for the upper half of the figure, as far as the looks of the costume and the sculpting of it, it does seem to be pretty accurate from what I saw, you know, based on the video game artwork. There's lots of layers to this brown armor that she has on, and for the most part, it shows up well. And even though that's all done in one piece, so that brown armor is just, you know, directly sculpted as part of the arms, part of the chest, it still has a nice look of separation from that yellow shirt underneath. Some of that brown painting here and there gets a little spotty where it didn't quite cover the yellow base color underneath. But for the most part, to me, not too bad, and it kind of helps highlight some of the details of the brown, I guess we'll call it armor. Through her back, you got some nice detailing being done there, especially in the upper part of her back. Through the arms, some nice folding of the fabric being sculpted in there. As you expect to see a Jedi have, you got some pouches sculpted on the sides of her hips. Nice dark color with some light brown, maybe it's a bronze painting being done for some button detailing. On the left side of her hip is a little hole in her belt where you can place one of her accessories, the lightsaber hilt, and slide it into place there. And then below the belt, you got 3 loose tabards that are sculpted running down the front of the legs of the figure. Once again, some pretty nice outfit design being sculpted in there. And then for the legs, again, base yellow color, matches up pretty well to the upper half of the figure. And then for the boots, not the best matching of brown here. That brown color for the upper part of the boot is painted over the yellow, so it definitely makes that a lighter brown color in comparison to the boot on the foot of the figure itself, where it's molded in that actual color. As far as articulation, head spins all the way around. A little bit of nodding up and down and even side to side. Arms hinge up almost 90 degrees and then swivel all the way around. Got hinge and swivel at the elbows, swiveling at the wrist, full swivel at the waist. As for the legs, they swivel almost straight out and about halfway back. The knees are hinged and give you about 90-degree bend there. Plus you get your rotation. And then at your feet, you got your hinge movement. And of course, your swiveling. As for accessories, it comes with 2 lightsabers, one fully lit and one with just the hilt. And a nice yellow coloring for the lightsaber blade with a little bit of that ignited effect as it's coming out of the hilt. And then for that hilt, nice silver coloring. Basic sculpting to it, lots of rings and stuff running around it, similar to what you saw in Darth Maul's, but otherwise no other special detailing or anything being done. She holds it well in her hand, and of course with the articulation, no problem achieving different poses with it. As for the second accessory, it's going to be your lightsaber hilt without the blade, since the other one is all sculpted as one piece of plastic. Similar design here, but I do feel like those ringed elements on the hilt are a little bit more defined on this single accessory than it was on her fully lit lightsaber. And then at the one end, you got a little peg sticking out on the lightsaber where you can slide that onto her belt. Stays in there pretty well. So overall for me, you know, it's not the worst figure in the world, even though I never played the game, and until I had to, you know, do this review, I didn't know what she looked like on the video game, but I already wasn't much for the way the head looked. It just doesn't look right. And maybe for me, the costume color just seems a little plain. It's just yellow and brown. There's nothing else to really spice it up. It just seems a little bit bland, and yet, based on what her costume looks like in the game, it seems like it's pretty well represented. So that wraps this one up. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching.